it's my honor to be the president of Gillis, and this is Tom Fox. He's a grant writer in our development department. I just wanted to start by thanking everyone here tonight for taking the time. I want to thank all the other presenters. I learned a lot about some organizations that I didn't know a lot about, and that was great. And the meatballs were phenomenal. I want to start just by giving you a short introduction to Gillis. This is our administration building here. It's been there since 1928 in our historic Waldo campus off of 81st and Warnell. Since 1870, Gillis has been providing services to children and families. In 1870, the problem was actually Civil War orphans and widows with no way to support their children. So a group of women got together, wanted to make a difference in the lives of those children and those women and those families, and they started going into war widows' homes to do what they could to help them out. And eventually, Gillis took in their first child. And for every day, every second of those 140 years since then, Gillis has had children in our care. And we are still serving children and families in their homes. We're proud of our history and our tradition, but we're even more proud of the work that we're doing today. We have transformed from a group of concerned citizens coming together to meet a need to a comprehensive child and family serving organization. We have 160, 170 staff on any given day, 7 major programs serving 3,800 people every year. If there is a child or family experiencing trauma or struggling with behavioral health issues, Gillis has a program that can help meet their needs. We reach 900 families in their homes across 9 counties, and nearly 300 children visit our campus each year for intensive treatment for serious emotional issues. And some come by bus each day from more than 20 different school districts to our therapeutic day school. Tonight, we want to talk about 2 of our flagship campus-based programs and some of the renovation work that we're pursuing. The first program that Tom's going to talk about is our emergency shelter, which ImpactKC funded in 2010. And the second is our intensive residential treatment program, which is what we're asking for support for tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom. Thank you very much.
Thanks, David, and thank all of you guys. I want to go just a little off script because I want you guys to know that after having watched all the programs, there might be a few of you who are maybe a little bit astonished by the amount of need that's in our city. And I know that since I've been involved in my career with human services, that I have felt that same astonishment. But I want you to also know that I hope you're just as astounded by all the different organizations that are trying to do something about it and the commitment that they show, and that we are just as astounded by the amount of generosity that's out there and that your organization represents. And so every year we just thank God for people like you that we can do the things we do. So just in case you were getting discouraged, I wanted you to know that there's a lot of hope still too. Back in 2010, when I came to this room and talked to you guys a little bit, Children's Division had just come to us and they had said, man, there are sibling groups being split up because we just don't have children's shelter space for them, and we have kids that really need acute trauma crisis care when they come out of a horrible situation, that they're being sent to Springfield and Columbia for shelter care because we just don't have the beds in the city. Could Gillis do something about it? And I said, we sure will try. And so we got together and figured out a program for that. And then within a couple months of that, I came to ask you for help with that. And that's really important to me because I want to, while we're here, let you know how we did. What you guys did back in 2010, 4 years ago, I told you then that the average age would be about 13. That's what Children's Division told us. It's actually been about 6.5. We've had some very, very young children, some with less than a month old even. And like it says there have been 9 toddlers potty trained in our shelter in that time. And we've preserved 24 of those sibling groups that would have been split up if we wouldn't have opened. And so that's the kinds of things that you did with your help. 208 kids, like we said, and then we've been tracking all along that 96% of those left with reductions in trauma symptoms. But we found out recently that we finally got our 3-year long-term follow-up data. And it turns out that kids whose first stop in state custody was Gillis Emergency Children's Shelter, they have about 5 times fewer placement disruptions than the state average. And they achieve permanency, so that means they find a home where they're going to stay forever with a loving family twice as fast as the state average if Gillis was their first stop. And that's what you did and what you had the power to do. The non-number version of that is that right now in our shelter, I have a 3-month-old baby with 6 broken bones. I know that if I had 6 broken bones, I'd have some Vicodin or some Percocet or something to help me through that. There's not a lot we can do for a 3-month-old. And so there's a baby in pain, but it makes me feel so much better to know that she's going to find a family twice as fast as she would have if we wouldn't have been open if you guys wouldn't help us out. So thank you very much. That's the power of your work. If you weren't here in 2010, let's talk about what we can do tonight. Our shelter is a very successful program. Our older program is residential treatment for boys. And that helps kids that the average boy in our residential treatment program has already failed in 3.5 foster homes or adoptions because they have some serious emotional issues. Those come in about 3 general groups. There's kids that their trauma has become kind of anger issues. There are kids who are in the sort of self-harm group, so they might be sort of cutters, suicide watch kind of guys. And then there are guys who have been sexually abused, so they have some extreme sexual behaviors at a young age. And so we're working with all of them to control some of those emotional issues and be successful in family life. The problem is, with all the focus on our new shelter and trying to get it up and running, and with all the ways we try to get things done, that the cottages where the residential program is have fallen into a little bit of disrepair. They haven't been renovated since 2007. And our boys in particular, you can imagine when 20 boys live in a house, it doesn't always look the greatest, and especially if all those boys have some serious emotional problems, some things can get roughed up pretty quick. So the walls in residential have some holes and some scratches. The walls in the shelter look pretty. The tables in residential are not in the best shape, but the table in the shelter looks wonderful. And we think that part of the reason our shelter's been so successful is because of that beautiful therapeutic environment that you guys helped us provide. Here's some more examples. That's the shelter furniture and washer and dryer. In the cottages, the furniture's a lot worse looking. And we have a broken window today. So, those are the kinds of things that we've been trying to address with this package. We started raising money early, almost this time last year, to address all of these things that are going on in our residential cottages. And one of those is the bathrooms that we asked you for. Since we asked you, we had a bathroom actually kind of erupt, so we kind of had to go ahead and fix it, but that means that it's even longer until we get some of these other things accomplished. And we're up against winter right now, and so especially replacing that 86-year-old boiler in this building with a modern forced air system is something that's really on our mind this winter. A whole bunch of little boys live there, and we hate for them to be real cold. So that's the project in front of you. We've asked for $14.5 grand to help us with those. Just really quickly, one of the reasons that we came to you, we've only come to you, once before, but we know that you guys like things that are durable and lasting and will be there for a long time, that you can come visit several years later and see. And so that is one of the reasons we came with you. But also this is a chance to make a broad impact because you'll help over 1,000 kids in the next 10 years, but also a very deep impact because the kids that we help have some very serious issues that we can help them really address and make a big difference in their lives. And then finally, we also have a Hall Family Foundation matching grant, so anything that you grant to Gillis tonight will be doubled by another funder, and that helps you make an even larger impact. So thank you for all of those things you did in the past, and thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate it. And if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
just love what you guys do. I worked in Spa for Bridgerton. I don't know how I missed Gillis.
Thank you. But you'll have to come back for it and give us a little volunteer time.
There you go. It was.
Thank you very much.